welcome back to another episode of Inside the Humidor. I'm Josh Eagle, alongside Josh Mills and Ed Brandyberry, the Friendly Faces. We are doing part 2 of this year's Aficionado Top 25 episode. Going to be fun because we're counting down the top 10. Let's jump into it, boys.
All right.
This year, you know, the top 10 in general was an interesting collection of cigars.
Yeah.
For me, it was a little different than some of the years past because different factories, different cigars that kind of came out of nowhere that weren't really talked about throughout the year, you know, ended up being on the top 10 this year. And we're going to start with the 10th cigar. It's Villiger made the this Robusto. What did they do out of this factory here? Florida Inclan Robusto, huh?
I don't know how you pronounce that.
Me neither. Y-N-C-L-A-N, folks.
All you Spanish people
Inclan.
Inclan.
It looked like a Spanish word I've ever seen.
No.
The German, so who knows what it is. Yeah, it could be anything.
Swiss outfit, right up
Swiss,
there?
yeah, whatever. Same.
You know, Villiger is pretty much known worldwide for their machine-made products.
Yeah.
You know, they have a healthy selection of cigarillos, little tiny cigars.
They've had a tough time in the United States.
They
the
have.
last few years.
They've rebranded themselves a couple times.
Yeah, they're trying to redo. Well, they had an unfortunate in our shop. They had 2 Christmases ago. They dropped their reps in a hurry and without much warning, I guess. So
That affected
we
them
responded to
nationwide.
that negatively, and I think a lot of other shops did too. But they've tried to make kind of a resurgence, and you know, hitting the top 10 doesn't hurt. You know, so that's.
No, and this particular cigar has the Villiger actual
Name on it.
Name on it.
Wow. What is one of our biggest criticisms, folks, has been when manufacturers put a name on a cigar. It has nothing to do with the name of their company.
Yeah.
And
So you
then
have-
how do people identify it with the rest of what you make? And so
We'd have the Villigers on a shelf, and then we'd have swag below that, and then below that would be Tabacalar or whatever the other, Tobajara.
Tobajara.
And they didn't say Villiger on the box or band or nothing. So if you didn't have someone in the shop that knew what they were
They
talking
did
about,
Cuellar cream at one
Yeah.
point in time.
Right.
if the tobacconist in the store doesn't know any better, the customer has no chance of knowing that what they're smoking is even a Villiger at all. So
Yeah, trill. I would, if I saw a musical expression like trill, I would almost have thought
it was an Avo or something.
that
Or
was
an aging room.
yeah, or aging room. Yeah, aging room or Avo.
I think they were after a different definition of trill, but
Yeah, I
Sure,
know they
yeah.
do.
But we haven't, we just talking about that, we haven't actually smoked this cigar in particular, and we may get a chance to come across it. I don't think it's a limited production. No, it seems to be a
Yeah,
full,
so I'm excited to
full
give it-
process.
Full
We'll have to give it
prod.
find it out there in the world and give it a shot. Top 10's a great thing to hit, and they got a 93 rating. Like what we said, it's real congested in the 93
Right.
rating mark this year, you know, with almost 10 cigars coming in with a 93 rating. So you're splitting hairs again, 10 versus 9 versus 11 versus 25.
Right.
You know, all these
Right.
cigars are great and worth
even
a
the average
try
cigar smoker, you
at
try
your
to get
local
him
brick and mortar.
You try to get an average cigar smoker to come up with a top 10 list, and it's
Yeah,
how do you
hard.
even possibly put it in
It's
order?
hard to do.
Yeah, and this, like you said, if you can run into this is a cigar you should probably try.
And another surprise here, at number 9, the Placentia Alma Fuerte Generation 5. Now, Placentia has been making cigars for a lot of notables
Long time.
in the industry.
If you don't think you
for a
know
very long
Placentia,
time.
you definitely smoked their stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
if you
almost
smoked
certainly.
Rocky, you smoked Placentia,
1502,
1502.
the Tiki stuff, definitely smoked
Right.
Placentia.
You could go on and on because the tobacco that a lot of people buy to use is grown by Placentia. So he's the top grower of tobacco in Nicaragua.
And more little known in this region is that Nestor Palencia is a blender and also makes great
Right.
premium cigars with their own brand name on them.
Right.
But Placentia isn't just a household name. It should be a household name because
Yeah.
of what work they're putting out. I mean, there's probably other cigars they've made on this list,
Yeah, probably.
but it doesn't have the Placentia name on it. And again, that's another factory that is putting a lot of cigars for other people ahead of their own cigar brands. AJ Fernandez. comes-
Fernandez comes to mind as one who's done that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He comes to mind as, at first he started with, you know, a lot of the internet cigars. Then you have a hard time putting your own brand on it because he's known
Yeah.
for Man of War.
There's a lot of newbies that'll know that Ave Maria and the Man of War and stuff. They'll have no
Diesel.
idea they're smoking. an
Diesel.
AJ.
We just had a
Yeah.
conversation the other day.
I tried to sell a guy like that in New World, and they don't even know what they got no idea why they should try it. You know, their favorite cigar is made by the same guy.
Exactly. You know, Nick Perdomo started out doing a lot of internet cigars.
Yeah, wow, and plus making other people's to keep your production going. He made the CAOs.
Yeah.
The early CAOs were made by Nick.
And that's the thing with making a cigar and having your own brand. Growing the tobacco, there's a whole other side of the business when it comes to growing a tobacco, sourcing, from windshield washer fluid to, bricks. The same couple of people make these things with different, tags on them,
Right,
essentially.
right.
And just like clothes, anything like that. And cigars are no different in that respect.
I used to call on a windshield wash company
Yeah.
as a customer, and I'd go in and I'd see their labels: Texaco, Mobil, Exxon.
Right. It's all the same thing.
It's the same line, and they just change the line when they need to put the new label
Put
on
a
it.
new label.
I mean, Placentias are really one of the big boys. If you're smoking a cigar, they don't have their own field and factory, and they're not coming from a big line that has their own field and factory. There's like a 75% chance that
Yes.
cigar either has Placentia tobacco in it or was rolled by
Or
Placentia
maybe
or both.
rolled by it. Right.
I know Casa Fernandez is another one, which is coming up next.
Yeah.
What are their fields called?
This,
The Bacchus
well,
Swamp?
Tabs is the factory,
Aganor,
and then
Tabsa.
Aglagor or something like that.
Yeah.
They're contesting. They say they grow as much tobacco or more as Placentia, which
They all kind of say that.
that's
Yeah. Nick
hotly
says
contested.
he's number 2 now.
No, he's
so-
actually keeping track, so who knows?
They just
And
is number
Who
one.
keeps track?
how many acres you own versus how many you're growing
You're
tobacco
growing,
on
yeah.
is gonna,
Right.
is suspect too. So
All
who knows?
different.
Well, yeah, AJ has access to a couple of thousand, but I think he's only got about 1,500 in plant.
But Tabsa Factory's killing it though.
Yeah,
They
Tabsa-
do Casa Fernandez. They do that Foundation, which is crushing it right now.
Yeah.
And they
have
do
the,
Warped.
Yeah, and they do Warped, which
Right.
is these guys
Those
here.
Wart cigars are really good cigars.
Yeah.
This is a collaboration here between the Mr. Fernandez and Kyle Gallis of Warped. So it's kind of a Casa Fernandez Warped hybrid, although it flies under the Warped flag. And
What is it?
The Guardian of the Farm Apollo Selection.
Is it-
Warped.
Is it very available, or is this like on and off again cigar?
all their stuff is kind of on and off again. They do
Okay.
like a micro production type thing, similar to Black Label Trading Company maybe.
Right.
They roll out limited productions a few times a year type thing, so it's all kind of limited, but not necessarily.
The one that's
limited.
made that the most popular over the recent years would be Vieja.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're the ones that kind of pioneered a little bit of that limited run,
That's right,
limited
that's
run,
right.
limited run. But it's working for people,
Yeah, it is.
And if you're looking to smoke this Guardian of the Farm, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time finding it.
Yeah.
Well, in
but
Pittsburgh, we got a vibrant cigar scene, and there's 3 Warped accounts in
that
the
would
city.
be
What about the
Dirty
man
Dog?
sitting off camera? Doesn't his
They
shop
do,
carry
they
He's,
sure
Wart?
do.
he's the other main one, and then
Yeah,
Bloom's
yeah,
just got
yeah.
him in
there's
fairly
a
recently.
man in the West Wing.
Yeah.
And Bloom just got him, but we won't talk about that.
You got.
We love you,
You
buddy.
got to ask Roger when you're there if
Find-
you want to find a
Find
cigar.
a warp. Now, number 7, this one, guys, has got a lot of rave reviews, including a number 1 selection in Cigar Journal, which
That's
we love.
right.
Yeah.
We love the journal. If people aren't familiar with Cigar Journal, it's half written in German. And are they still doing that?
That's now half Spanish.
Half
Sometimes
Spanish.
it has Spanish now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half Spanish, half English is a pretty cool little magazine.
So where Cigar Aficionado has more of a
Spanglish.
the Maxim of
Yeah.
cigar magazine type thing going on. It's a men's lifestyle type magazine. Cigar Journal is if you're a geeky kind of guy.
An industry mag.
Every time I read Cigar Journal, I learn something. You know, there's
Yeah,
some cool
yeah.
bits in there. They talk to guys on the inside about finer points of growing tobacco and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's really a good industry magazine.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so the judge was Journal Cigar of the Year. Takes number 7 here in Aficionado.
And the judge is produced by my father, Don Pepin, Pepin Garcia, and they have been producing, great cigars for
And
the
Jaime
last.
Garcia is a great blender.
Yeah, his son.
Yeah.
So the judge, this particular one, a Gran Robusto, looks like a pretty cool size. It's a 5x60. It's
I
a
just
little bit
smoked it
of a
recently. When I had one myself. We don't have it here in the shop yet, but we probably will shortly.
box crash,
But I got
right?
to smoke it, yeah. $12 for a Robusto, Grand Robusto.
Wow.
So yeah, it might scare you off there, but I thought it was great. If you're a My Father guy, it's nothing new, I guess. It's expected. It tastes like a Don Pepin, tastes like a My Father, but it's in a good way. You know, They have a track record. They have they make good cigars. They have they have a taste associated with their cigars and the way they like to blend, and this is no different.
You know, the
judge got its name for a reason also.
Yeah, and the use of the Ecuador for Don Pepin is an interesting choice on the wrapper from what he usually does.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a stray from the normal.
A little bit, yeah.
From what he's doing. And I can't wait to give that cigar a try. At number 6, you'll see the cigar sitting on the table. It's the Ashton Symmetry Bellicoso. And the Fuentes produced this one, the Symmetry lineup, for Ashton. Don Pepin makes some other Ashtons.
This is the first Ashton that they added Nicaragua tobacco to their Dominican tobaccos.
Right, into the blend.
Into the blend.
And at one point, you know, in the Ashton portfolio, it's one of the first new cigars in I think like 8 years, and it came out, about 2 years ago at this point.
Right.
And finally getting its just due. I think it's an actual great, smooth, you know, if you're into Dominicans, like the Fuentes, where you're going to have not as much of that pepper bite as the Nicaraguans would have, but this cigar is smooth, it smokes great.
Yeah.
Again, it's in that $12 price range, this Bellicoso.
But if you're an Ashton smoker, you're not going to be too afraid of that price point. So
No.
you're right in there in the mix.
And even with where this judge kind of originally, going back to number 7 real quick, with the La Bijou and the Ominous, they're kind of in that price point as well. So they're in that more that $12, $13, $11.5 to $13 range versus some of the other ones he has, like Antilles, you know, you're down in the $7, $8 range.
Right.
But Ashton,
like AJ's New World is lower priced but got higher ratings than his San Lotano, which really I think adds a little more complexity than some of the others. But.
And sometimes complexity doesn't even win these types of competitions. It's more about, you know, and you're judging it not just on the flavor profile, you're judging on how it's constructed, on the draw.
You're dealing with a panel, so they
and what came out
10 samples.
Yep.
And what came out previously that has got someone's attention to review it.
Right, something that caught somebody's eye. But, you know, they also, to go, the synonymous point between 6 and 7 would be that also a lineup for Ashton, which is La Roma de Cuba and San Cristobal, are produced by Don Pepin. So again, Ashton is one of those brands either made by Fuente or Don Pepin. It says Ashton on the label. So maybe you're going to like to go over here to number 7 and try out the judge if you're an Ashton guy. Or if you're a San Cristobal or La Roma fan, if you like Ashton, maybe try out a Fuente, you're probably going to be pretty well satisfied because the same people are making it.
Yeah.
Number 5, guys. Our buddies over at Alec Bradley hitting the top 5.
Been on the show a couple times.
Yep.
So we'd like to
They've
see them
also
bring one home.
been good to. Don't we have a cigar coming from our State Retailers Association that is going to be made by Alec Bradley?
The Pennsylvania Premium Cigar Retail Association here in Pennsylvania has reached out, and Alan Rubin has agreed, along with Alec, to produce a cigar that's going to be a limited edition for only Pennsylvania Premium Cigar Retail Association brick and mortars.
Right.
So we're really excited about that, and the top 5 gives us even more reason to be excited about that. And the Tempest Natural Corona is probably my favorite cigar. I'm a little bit biased when it comes down to the old Alec Bradley being in the top 5, but I absolutely love
this is
the cigar.
the Century is like their Churchill type.
Right.
Yeah, but the Corona's my favorite.
He's saying the one that's Corona size.
Is that the Churchill?
Yeah. Centurion?
Yeah, 7x49.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
So that slightly smaller ring gauge Churchill that we all love so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a mind blowing, not a new flavor cigar, nothing like that.
This is a brand that's been out a long time.
It's just rock solid.
Tempest.
Yep.
It's always interesting to me when something that's been out for a while, and as we get into like number 3, number 2, you'll see that again. Cigars that have been around for a good while.
But that means a lot more than some people might think.
Yeah.
Because you're using different tobacco every year when you're producing cigars. It's not like the tobacco plant is growing in the field and it just comes back for you next year. You're planting new seed.
And you're trying to get it as close as you possibly
You're trying to get that blend as close as you can. So you got to take your hat off to Alec Bradley that they can have a blend that can be in their portfolio for so long and then bounce all the way up to number 5. I mean, that's a good bounce.
Yeah, whichever it is.
What did it get, a 94?
Yeah, 94. And
Yeah.
there's what, the 2 billets under there, right? There's the master blender and what's the other guy? The head blender or something like that. And one of them blends new cigars, and the other one's job year in and year out is to take those blends and using a different crop that's been grown under different conditions with different sunlight and different humidity and everything else and recreate the same cigar again. And yeah, that's just a testament to that guy.
And
Right,
that's a
right,
trick.
right.
And that's a trick that people don't know. They think, oh, it doesn't take. Well, you know, their whole game plan is to try to get it to taste exactly the same.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's impossible. These are plants grown in the ground. And the job that they do with just their palate to get it to be the same year after year, crop after crop, is amazing. And sometimes, though, it comes out even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna get, you're going to see
top
this.
5,
You're going to see this happening with the rest of this this top.
Yeah, the rest
Yeah,
of
the
the,
list, yeah.
well, as we move up the list, you'll see more of that. Right.
Number 4, the Boulevard Bellicoso Fino. This,
We usually don't have much to say about the Cubans that pop on these, but this is one I think we're
if you can get your hands
we're actually
on,
pretty
We're
familiar,
familiar with
with
this one.
Yeah.
This is a shop favorite here. I'm always ecstatic when I get one of these in my hands.
Yeah, we have a
It's-
customer who brings in his government limit for Cubans and is generous with them.
Yeah, so you got it priced at $21.60 in
It's
well,
European.
21.60 euros.
So in America, it's $1.22
So it's
to
gonna
$1.
be like, what,
So do the math at
26 or
home.
something like that. 25, 26, somewhere in there.
No, 22 times 20 is another $4. Yeah, $26, something like that in American money. That's when you know you're actually, if you're paying about $26, $27.
They better be good.
You also have to make sure. I'm going to give a little Cuban breakdown here. For anybody watching this, you cannot buy Cuban cigars in a Pennsylvania or any United States retailer. It's still not a legal practice for us to sell them to you. But for you to own them and smoke them from wherever you get them is a legal practice.
Is a legal practice. Yes, you can
is
do.
legal. You
Correct.
can smoke these cigars. You don't have to run around with them like undercover or take the bands off.
I need to, I'm smoking some
We
Cubans
can't
there.
sell them to you. You know, we just
You can give them to us if you're in
yes,
the shop.
you can give them to us.
Maybe it'll work
Can't
out.
sell them to you. That's
Some
the
kind
rule.
of trade could be with purchase, of course.
And there are websites available, you know, and if customs got a stick in there behind,
Yeah.
they could stop them from happening. But for the most part, people are able to get them freely from European
They're not
countries.
that hard to get your hands on.
Yeah. And the other thing about it, when you go to some island out of the back of a truck, the chances are
That you're going to get a
you're
good
not buying
Dominican
Yeah, you're probably getting a
instead of
halfway
a-
decent Dominican or one that's filled up with rocks, kitty litter, sand, and
yeah.
sticks.
Basically, price point is everything. If you got your $100 box of Cohibas, I hate to break it to you, they're not stolen from the factory floor. They're not whatever story they fed you. Really, you
They're
gotta
not.
pay for it, and
Yeah.
when you do, and you get a good one like this Boulevard Bellicoso Fino, I've always said Nicaraguans are still my favorite, but like I said, I'd be more than thrilled to smoke the cigar again. It's
Yes.
really excellent.
You know, and for me, as a brick and mortar owner in Pennsylvania, Cuban, to talk about Cubans with folks, you know, 10 years ago, it was a little bit more taboo. It's growing on people. People have them more readily available. The internet has changed the game.
It's not the forbidden fruit at once.
Yeah, it's not some guy going to
it pretty
Aruba, getting a
readily if
fake
you want.
insert in his passport, flying over to Cuba, taking the bands off, sneaking them back in his backpack. You know, it's not the same as it was.
Really?
He would still do that.
Yeah,
for unnecessary reasons. But you know, you go to Canada and buy one of these, they're like $75,
Yeah. Ooh.
and they're good, but don't bother.
No, they're $75 good.
Yeah, bring some cigars
You've
across
never
the
had
border.
one
You know
before
what I
when
mean?
you're over there. You know, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go to our
Want to scratch it off the old
go to
bucket
your
list
New
or something.
York and Michigan brick and mortars, and even with their state taxes, you'll pay a lot less than you
Yeah.
are going to pay in Canada for a cigar.
Well, there's a 3,000% tax or something ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, in
The old 3,000.
Australia, they've priced them up to the point now
They might as well make
that
them
you
illegal.
might as well. It might as well be like, I don't know, what's the most expensive illegal drug you can get?
Right.
You know, it's like, it's craziness. Dead people on the covers of the boxes, you know.
Perfect. So the 3 on the list, guys. Back to what we were talking about with the Alec Bradley Tempest is a tried and true. I think Josh is smoking it right now.
Smoking right now. One of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, the Oliva the Serie V Bellicoso.
That is a great cigar.
I mean, you've seen this on lists in the past. You've seen other sizes.
It's a perennial or an annual.
Yeah,
It's
the
somewhere
V in some
Top
way
25
or
lister.
fashion gets on lists year after year after year, and once again, it's a hats off to the Olivas for growing such consistent tobacco and blends.
The Bellicoso is one we've carried here in a while. It's not my go-to. I'm a number 4 guy, or maybe a Churchill Extra guy, a Lancero guy, that kind of thing. But since it's got the nod, I've smoked a few Bellicosos, and it just smokes great. You know, $8.36. It's just so solid. It's a cigar that you got to feel like a lot of people are kind of chasing. It's been so good for so long.
Yeah.
It's probably a well-emulated cigar in the market. It's a cigar that I draw comparisons to frequently. I'll call it Oliva V-esque if I smoke something that has that kind of dark, rich Nicaraguan flavor profile to it. It's a benchmark setter. It's really,
and
really
there's certain
solid.
cigars in the industry have set those standards, and this for
Yeah.
a Nicaraguan, a Nicaraguan Puro. We explained that in the past. For the Nicaraguan Puro, all tobacco from the origin country of Nicaragua inside of this blend. It sets the standard of what a Nicaraguan cigar should taste like. It just does in that medium profile range. It's not overbearing.
It's
but
going
it
to depend
sets
who you
the
ask.
standards. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people call this as a full body cigar. It's probably fringe for
Yes.
me.
It's
full flavor.
I
And
call it
most people do
three-quarter
consider
full.
it full body.
Yeah.
I enjoy Lanceros and Coronas, but of course, my favorite, as I've shared with you before, my favorite is a Churchill Extra or a Torpedo. And either one, the great thing is throughout any of Oliva's sizes on this V, you're going to get a great cigar.
Doesn't matter.
There's
It's
no
not-
doubt about it.
The only beef with this size is that it's not really what I'd consider a Bellicoso. It's kind of just a short torpedo. Bellicoso, I think it has more of that rounded edge, or maybe something more like what's on the Padron there with the almost
Yeah.
marble bullet type top on top.
Right.
Yeah,
But
versus
that's
the
not
torpedo.
really,
with the
that's not real criticism.
That's a naming. Yeah.
what
a
I-
naming.
We're gonna go. we could go.
And I'm not
nuts
just
with
saying
names.
it's setting the standard because we said in here, the guys, that it sets the standard.
Yeah.
Look, we've been to some factories in Nicaragua where there's maybe a secret Oliva or two in a factory in the pockets of the people working and the managers.
Yeah.
And the
yeah,
owners.
Yeah.
In their
crowd
pocket. It's a crowd favorite. It's one
Right.
that even the competitors would
Right.
smoke, which is going to
Right.
give you a little bit of insight on how good of a cigar that is.
Yeah. Ricky liked that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Now, here's a perennial top 5 company, the Padron family.
Yeah. Deservedly so.
Sure.
They make some of the finest cigars in the world.
So number 2,
It's
Padron
num-
Series 1926, number 2. And the natural, we got them there here on display because our naturals are still in order.
It's
There's a
it's
chance we'll
conveniently
go on
called the
back
number 2, and it's number 2.
Number two.
Believe that.
Got a deal.
Number 2.
Now, the
number
Padron
2.
Natural series, they also had the 9, which was one of the highest rated cigars of all time.
I think,
at one point.
I think
it
if
received
you look at the numbers, that 1926 number 9 may just be the most awarded cigar in
modern.
collectively in modern history. I
Right,
think
because
it's-
of what it's gotten, the 97s with Aficionado. It's had repeat 95s.
we've talked about that classic cigar
Right.
designation, which
Right.
is with each magazine has a different one, but I think in these guys it's
95.
95, and maybe in Journal it's 95 or 94 or something.
96.
96. But there's a designation where when it gets it, that's a truly special, timeless, instant classic. It's a classic cigar. It's one that's just exemplifies what a cigar of that country's origin or whatever should taste like. And
It's a great cigar, always.
Yeah, so to explain, we were just talking about the number 9 is just a different size of this exact same cigar that won this year.
That's correct.
with
There's
the
a little
number
bit
2.
of a
Right.
Bellicoso-y torpedo type thing.
Yeah, so it's
Got the
Padron.
96 rating, classic rating.
So you got 2 classics in the same portfolio of the 1926 blend. So
Tells you
the
something.
9 and the 2, yeah, it's going to tell you something about the
Actually,
brand
if
and
you
what-
went through the portfolio of Padron, they have over half a dozen classic rated cigars.
Between 64 Natural Maduro,
Right.
1926 Natural Maduro,
Right,
and I
right.
think even their X1000 Family Blend line is
Right,
I don't know
right.
if it's gone
The,
up
the
there.
40th and the 80th are in the 26 line.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many cigars that come out of the factory. They have an everyday line.
They have to show up for that 80th, you know.
Yeah.
We put a plug in here for our $30 night, folks. We have one time a year where everyone goes insane. No, they don't go insane. They're enjoying a really good cigar. And so once a year, we had $30 cigar night. And we fill the shop with people smoking only cigars that cost $30 or more.
It's a way to treat yourself once a year,
And
smoke something
once a
you wouldn't
year,
normally smoke.
why feel guilty? You can tell your wife or husband, I smoked a $30 cigar tonight, but I only do this once a year.
But if you're a big-time cigar smoker out there, if you've been smoking for a while and that $17, $18 price point scared you away, and you haven't had a Padron specifically, you haven't had a Padron 1926, do yourself a favor.
Pick yourself up one.
It's not, for me, it's the 18-year-old, the 25-year-old Scotch. You know, we were just talking about this. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you get into those ultra-premium price points, like a Macallan 25, something like that, it becomes too mellow for my palate. The 1926 might have a little bit of that for me.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you smoke it objectively as a cigar smoker, it's I mean, I still love the cigar. If I had a chance to smoke a 1926, if someone handed me one, I'd be, thrilled. It's phenomenal, despite the fact that it's not perfect for me. It's a must try. If you've missed it somehow, get out there and grab one at your local tobacconist because it's excellent.
Absolutely.
Now you're going to give us one of the rarest cigars out in the industry right now.
We're gonna
Especially
do it.
right now.
The #1 cigar of the year was Arturo Fuente's Don Carlos Eye of the Shark. It's the man's 80th, I think, was the nickname of this cigar. Am I wrong with that one?
I'm not
But this
sure. They do all
cigar
kinds
is
of
a
wonky
size
stuff.
from Don Carlos Carlos Fuente. Carlos Fuente Jr. was the blender on this particular cigar. Received a 97, one of the greatest ratings of all time. Now, the Eye of the Shark is a size that they kind of have. It's more like almost a pyramid.
Yeah, I think it's certainly it's a form of a box press pyramid, which is unique. If you have the Añejo shark out there, you may be more familiar with that. The Añejos come out at Christmas every year, and you've probably seen or had the shark. This is the Eye of the Shark from the Don Carlos Fuente line, only to be had at the Opus accounts. Not every brick and mortar gets to order these.
Opus accounts get
So this isn't one that's readily available to us. I do know it's available down to Bloom's, and when this came out, it was within an hour he was sold out. He had a few boxes around, and as soon as this word came out that it was #1, they were gone. So it was kind of the curse of the #1 cigar. If you remember the Andalusian Bull last year,
Yeah. We're still waiting on all of ours.
it's turn and burn on them. I mean, and there's still cigar smokers out there that are serious cigar smokers that haven't come across one yet.
Yeah.
The Andalusian Bull is still under that. We get 4 or 5 boxes in and they're gone like as quick as they come in. It's just. And this is going to be similar. Apparently, the Fuente Opus accounts have had some trouble with back orders and stuff. High demand cigar as it was, takes the #1 designation, and it's going to be.
Just jacks it up.
If you see it around, and you see it around at its real price point of $21.25,
$12.25.
$12.25. So yeah, I thought
Which-
21 was
No.
yeah, 12.
Yeah, good.
Good luck finding
You're not
it
going to
for-
find it at $12.25. On a lot of the Opus limited releases, they don't actually put an MSRP on them, and they allow the shop owner to try to get what he can get because of its rarity. So I do want to remind you out there as a customer, when you walk into the brick and mortar and then you ask for this cigar, and somebody tells you, I don't have it, and they say, when are you going to get it? And we say never, to not get mad at that account. There's nothing you can do about it. This particular cigar is a limited edition cigar to limited retailers.
Yep.
So there's certain places you can buy the cigar.
You basically have to be a top 5% for any account.
Not even as, I mean, it's almost like a liquor license allowance or something like that.
Yes, and you only get as many as you get, like Pappy Van Winkle. Or like the
Yeah,
top
we
one.
asked them for a number. What sales target can we hit to get these? And we were told
There is none.
there really isn't. You kind of just have to be the top one in the region, the top account in the region.
When something opens up.
If somebody were to not meet whatever criteria they had, if somebody were to pass on their Opus X allotment, you'd have to kind of be in the right place at the right time, and it's just hard to get. And conversely, due to the rarity and stuff, if you walk into a brick and mortar and it's $16, and you saw them here in the magazine it's $12, I wouldn't say they're not price gouging you. I don't think. I think they're getting a fair price for an extremely rare product.
I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure they probably box these in 10-count boxes as well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I don't know for a fact.
Probably.
I would assume it's a 10-count box. But, you get 4 boxes, It's really only 2.
It's like
in
in
any other
2
cigar.
boxes.
You know, and if they put a limit on what you can buy, don't be angry about it.
Yeah.
You know, you want other people to try it in your shop. I mean, it'd be great if someone comes and buys them all, but they're going to
A
sell.
lot of retailers would portion them out. They won't let someone buy
Right.
them all, but other guys would say, hey, he's the guy with the money, and he's here right now.
And in closing, we would be remiss not to say that the top 3 cigars this year had major losses. They're
their
icons
companies.
at their companies. They're all icons in the industry.
3 men that you could probably say, I wouldn't say built the industry, but
Pretty close.
the modern cigar industry landscape would not be the
The
same.
non-Cuban cigar industry has much to owe these 3
Yeah,
men.
the patriarchs of the Fuente, the Oliva, and the
Padron.
Padron.
Padron family all passed away this year. It was huge news if you didn't hear about it. 3, true legends. So
And all in the same year. So, you
if
know,
this was secretly a nod, all 3 of these cigars are worthy of a #1 spot.
They are.
They easily could be. Is it highly coincidental and a little strange that they're all 1, 2, and 3 in the order of deceased?
not
perhaps.
saying, just saying, perhaps.
Perhaps. That's a Mills conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Not to take anything away from any of those cigars. Like I said, any one
they
of
all
those
could be
3
number
could
one.
be #1s. They're truly phenomenal.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, so our condolences to the families even still. They'll be missed.
Absolutely. There's a lot of information out there on their lives. I think I know
Yeah.
that the Padrones had put out a autobiography.
Yeah, the My Little Hammer or My Hammer or something like
Yeah.
something to do with the hammer, I guess.
So a lot of fun stuff, a lot of good reading, and a lot of history when it
Yes.
comes to the cigar industry would be associated with those 3 men
And those 3 brands.
and those 3 brands. Well, thank you for watching. I'm Josh Eagle, along with Josh Mills and Ed Brandyberry. Go out there and burn one, baby.
Boom.